Good evening. Minister Anita Kelly here. Just going to give you guys a few minutes to sign in and be ready for this for real segment. I'm happy to be talking about something that I'm actually going through at the moment, but I'm going to take a moment and tell you again about AK Ministries. And my motto is cultivating gems, letting the youth shine through. I have a vision to be an inspiration and encourage others to live a purposeful life, to allow the experiences that life is bringing to us to strengthen us, our soul, and to cultivate us into the gems that God intended for us to be so that we can shine bright through all circumstances. You have to do the work. And that's what this ministry is about, doing the work. My mission is to foster internal healing from life's most challenging experiences, to strengthen the soul, and to encourage wholeness through acceptance and forgiveness. AK Ministries empowers individuals to recognize the origin of their disappointment and pain, to accept ownership of personal triggers, and to accept the complete healing of Jesus from Jesus Christ, allowing you to dig deep within your soul so that that beautiful gem inside of you can shine through. Amen. And that is what AK Ministries is all about. And we're going to be doing some outreaches and some other things here real soon. I'm just trying to build back up the for real podcast and get my audience back because I had to take a little break. Life is, but I'm here and I'm bringing it back. And I hope that we have been an encouragement to you. And if you hear the sound behind me, it is the sound of the beautiful rain outside. I'm in a tin building, so it really kind of takes me back a little bit. And I just love hearing the sound of rain, but I hope it does not interfere with you trying to listen in to what I'm saying tonight. This is a very sensitive topic for me at this moment during this season for me. I was just listening to a song, and I wish that we could actually play music on these lives. But there's a young lady. She may not be new, but she's new to me. I've been listening to her for the last couple months, and she just put out another album. And her name is Araya Blue, Ariblu. I encourage you to listen to this young lady's ministry. I was listening to a song today called Disconnected Soul. I challenge you to go listen to that, Disconnected Soul. Google that in YouTube and listen to what this young lady is saying. I'm telling you, I love the sound of her music and I love the message. It's really about the message in the music. Tonight, for our subject matter, it's about I'm not okay. You know, sometimes we might be looking okay, we functioning pretty good, smiling, serving, showing up. We talked about that a little last week. But inside, there's some turmoil. There's some stuff going on the inside where we're feeling overwhelmed in some areas and hurting. We're tired. Last week we talked about being tired, but tired is another aspect of not being okay. You get so fatigued it just wear you out, always thinking, trying to figure out how you're going to get through whatever it is that may be having you feel like you're not okay. You know, inside you're just kind of breaking, right? I'm not here to rattle emotions because emotions only get you into crying and things like that, and it does not help you to solve the issues. It's just feelings and things that we go through, which is a part of it, but we can't let it overtake us, right? So tonight is, to me, is a very sensitive area, and I'm just here to try to help you dig deep within yourself. I always talk about being honest and upfront with number one. If you can't look in that mirror and be honest with that image on in that mirror, then you can't be honest with anyone else. It starts with us. You have to be able to be honest with yourself, whether you feel violated, whether you feel like you're a victim, whether you feel like you've done something wrong, whether you feel like you could have done something better. Is whatever drives these emotions and these things that we're going through. Number one is to be honest with the man or the woman in that mirror. I'm telling you, that's where it all starts. So tonight we want to talk about this, and I just want to kind of get through it, but I'm going to be very personal tonight because it's a real conversation that I want to have with you guys. And feel free to use the chat, talk to me, let me know what you're thinking, let me know what you're feeling, right? Or text me or something when it's over. Let me know that, that you heard the message. Your spirit responded, right, to the message. Because, I'm going to tell you, this is not about me because, I like to sit on the sofa and recline back in my chair and have nothing to do. But there's a charge on my life and I have to reach out. And so I hope that tonight will definitely encourage you as we talk about I'm not okay, dealing with the real pain, having the real conversation. And it's for a reason. It's not just to be nosy, right? It's not just to make you feel bad for a moment, but it is so that the real healing can begin. Where? Within you, because this is where it's going on right here. There's a silent war going on inside, right? And you really want to say, I'm really not okay. I know you see me functioning, I'm smiling, I'm talking, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not okay. And what I want you to know tonight is okay to be able to say that you're not okay. We all have our time and we all go through this from time to time. So you might be one that's out here smiling now and it's good. Last week I talked about being tired, and you get in there crying, you get to crying. You get home and you can't even function because you pretended all day long, right? Telling everybody that you good and you know that you got a war going on the inside. In your heart, something going on maybe with somebody dear to you and your family. Something may be going on personally with just you, right? And it's affecting your heart, it's affecting your thoughts, right? But we go out and hey, I'm okay. We know we not okay. We showing up, we going to work, we going to church, handling our business, we doing all these things. But when we have that alone time, deep down, we know that we're just really not okay. And I find that it's hard sometimes to admit that. It's hard to admit that you're not okay. But I'm going to be transparent tonight, and I'm going to let you in on some things about me. Glory to God is all I can say, right? Pretending to be okay, knowing that you're not. Why do we do that? Why do we put these masks on? One of the reasons is because we don't want to explain to anybody what's going on. I mean, I'm not saying you got to tell your business to everybody, but there ought to be someone that we should be able to confide in and talk to when life is doing this thing, right? When life is doing this thing, and sometimes you just need to be able to reach out and talk to somebody. But we don't want to explain what's going on, right? Because sometimes we feel like if we do that, somebody's going to judge us. Or somebody's going to think that we weak. Or somebody's going to think, oh, here she go again. She's just burdening people with all this stuff that she's going through, But the enemy will make you feel that way so that you keep this stuff bottled up on the inside. And as long as you keep it bottled up on the inside, guess what? Your healing can't start. And then, so what? The enemy can win because he's going to keep you from doing things that you really want to do, being involved in things that you really want to be involved in because, how do you say this? Because you're jacked up on the inside, right? Yeah. So it's easy, I'm telling you, to just say I'm fine. Because like we say, we don't want to take time and try to explain what's going on. We don't want people asking us all kind of questions. We don't want people to look at us we say, don't be looking at me some kind of way. Well, he and she's supposed to be so strong. I know they don't have no problem. That is a error. I don't know why people think that. And like I told you last week, check on your strong friends. Check on them. Just check on them. Bombard their life sometime because you have to break a strong person in order to get them to be vulnerable to the things that are going on so that you can let them know I see you. And so you saying you're okay, but I know that you're really not. So I'm just going to come and I'm going to take over and I'm going to do this or that for you because I know you're not going to ask me. But I know I can see you and I see that you're not okay. Last week we talked about being tired. I can see that you're tired. I can see that you're overwhelmed. I see you. And the way you get a strong person, you got to let them know, I see you. Now, what can I do to help? Right? What can I do to help? Sometimes that's what love does. Love sometimes make you do a takeover, right? So, what happens when they say I'm fine? What do they really mean? When you see them and you know that they're really not fine. They just lost somebody very close to them, or, someone just walked out of their life, or they just lost a job, or their child just went off to college. These things are not easy. We don't brush them over. Parents tell you all the time, they drop their kids off and they cry all the way, driving all the way home. They're not okay. You know what I mean? That's a thing in life that we go through. And it's not easy to say bye to your child when they go off to college because that is a separation. It is a separation from these last 18 years they were in your house. You had some inkling of their going and their coming. Now you don't, and some kids will keep you informed, and there are others that got that independence and they just will not. They will keep you in wondering where they are or if they are okay, So you don't want to tell people all the time what you can because you feel like that you're going to be a burden to them. But, just because you functioning or appear to be functioning, it still does not mean that you're okay. It does not really mean that you heal. All you're really doing is pretending because you don't want to let nobody in, and I think one of the things that confuse even us is that even though we're going through stuff, even though we're in pain, even though we're overwhelmed, even though we feel like we need people's support, even though we're going through our private struggles, you know what? We're still being productive. We're still being responsible. We're still serving and serving others. We're still smiling out in public. So sometimes we can fool ourselves. I'm okay. But I'm here to tell you that just because you're doing all these things, it don't mean that you whole. It might mean that, okay, I got enough going on where I can function. I can still do what I need to do. But I'm not whole. I'm still operating in parts, And so just being honest about that, why do we have such a hard time with this? Why? Because we're hiding our pain. And so there are various reasons that we do that. We hide our pain, but there's a cost to doing that. When we hide our pain, and last week we talked about being tired. Why? Because it makes you so fatigued. It is harder to pretend. It takes so much more from you. And so the cost of hiding your pain and stand behind this is you may start feeling like you just want to be by yourself. So it causes some isolation. You might even find that you start resenting people, right? Because of whatever it is going on. You might start feeling distance from people who can't really help you. Those who can really help us, and we find ourselves distancing ourselves from them. And then this is a big one that a lot of us don't realize, that sometimes we walk around being so numb emotionally. And what happens when you walking around numb emotionally is that you don't feel things like you should. It's just going through the motion. I'm just going through the motion, because guess what? I'm so full of uh, what my situation is and what I'm going through. I can't really take anything else. I am full to capacity. My thoughts are full. I don't have room for anything else. So I'm walking around almost like a zombie. I'm numb to anything else that's going on around me. And if something else does happen, then you really might crumble for real, because you haven't left yourself any room to take on that next thing that just might happen. Yeah. I want to tell you something. I'm going through something right now. And when I thought about doing this lesson, I'm like, oh God, is this so that I can be healed? Because if I can tell you that I'm really not okay right now, if I can just be honest with you, my friends, if I'm telling you to open up, I've got to open up. And I'm going to tell you that Anita Kelly is not okay right now. I went through something last week. Well, I've been going through something for a couple of years, but it really, when my mother passed in November, is going through the business and things and all that occurs afterwards. What people don't realize is that you get a lot of company, you get a lot of calls, you get a lot of this when they hear someone's passing. But the real work begins when the service is over and when the business has to take place and when you're trying to go forward without the presence of that person again. But you get mail still with their name on it. You got business that you still got to deal with because their name is on it. It's just so much that occurs after that. And so I want to tell you, I would always say, I'm usually not one that'll jump in when I just first hear the news. I'm one that try to check on you after the fact, because I know that that's when the phone calls stop. The roses ain't smelling no more. You're not getting no more cards. Nobody bringing any food. Now is the time that you need it, because you're going through this process. So some people have to go through a process a long time after someone passed away. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot from you. And so during those times, usually the person that's handling most of the business is really not okay, because they're having to try to deal with the presence of the person gone and dealing with the business and trying to mourn at the same time. And it's just overwhelming. So coming up last week was my mother's birthday, first birthday without my mom. It was going to be on last Friday. So I'm preparing myself so that I won't be sad that day, but it will be a day to be in my memories, my good memories. Okay. So I'm dealing with that. Then I get news of a tragedy. Same week. Totally unexpected. unbelievable tragedy struck my family last week. And trying to deal with that and also trying to prepare for my mom's first birthday. Um, I found myself not okay. I found myself in a really hard place. I didn't want to bring the emotional part out around my family because I didn't want to bring anyone else down. Here we go, right? This is what I'm talking about. Pretending. Because I didn't want to bring anybody else down around me. But I was messed up on the inside. I didn't know what to do with all these emotions hitting at the same time. Yes, I know the word of God. I know that God comforts me. But this is pain that I knew that I could not suppress. But trying to find a way to continue to function and deal with it. I found to be very, very difficult. It's still difficult. I'm not okay. And so I didn't know really how I was going to do this tonight and to even be talking about this subject. Because if you see me in the store tomorrow, I'm going to be smiling. If you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to say, I'm okay. Because that's what we do. And you're the woman in the mirror saying, you know, you're not okay. And you really don't want to be around anybody because you know that if they say certain words to you, you're going to just lose it. And you know you don't want to do that. This is how we talk to ourselves. But then when you're around that safe person, there's someone I call a safe person that you should be able to be vulnerable and um, to be able to talk about what you're really feeling on the inside. You know, a very, very close friend. It's like a brother from another mother. I call them because our parents were friends. Our fathers were best friends throughout the military, and they remained friends and they made sure their families remained close, even though we never lived in the same city, but you would know it because every opportunity they got, they were together and they brought families together. They were family men. And so he would have his family, my father would have his family, and they would just be kicked back having the best time of their life. And all of us kids were obviously around the same ages. So all of our parents are deceased now, but we still try to maintain the friendship that was built from our youth. And so my brother from another mother got murdered last week. And I'm not okay. Senseless at the hand of a relative. And sometimes, you know, you just say things are not fair. But we know that God is in control. And so I'm talking tonight about being honest about you're not okay. So I'm going to ask you, for real, if you are not okay, is it emotionally? Is it something in your relationship? Is it somewhere hiding in grief? You know, is it because you're waiting for something and you feel like you've been waiting too long? Or is it something mentally, talk about for real moment? Where is it that you're not okay? Can you be honest? Not because I'm asking you to do it, but can you be honest for yourself? To be able to say that, see, I was going through I'm okay, pretending because I didn't want to be vulnerable, right? But my emotions are all scrambled, right? So still trying to be productive and still trying to carry on life as usual. And there sometimes you just got to pause, right? And so it's okay to just not do the things on that to-do list today. It's okay to push it to the side, and if you need to go take yourself to lunch, sit by the water, or whatever it is that you need to do, sometimes you got to take care of yourself when you know for sure that you really, really not okay. I'm going to be fine because I'm going to get through it. But I know that it takes time. And sometimes our trouble is we try to rush through the process. No, I need time. I need time to gather my thoughts and to listen to the facts and try to make some sense out of what has happened. And then try to compartmentalize it within myself. Relying on God's grace and his mercy to get through it, right? And so giving yourself the amount of time that you need. So it was very hard by the time Friday came to be able to celebrate and memorialize my mom's first birthday, not here with us, but just a couple of days before having to deal with the news that is so unbelievable. So by Sunday, I was ready to shut down, if you understand, right? Just how many days can you really go, right? So anyway, admitting that you're not okay, it doesn't mean that you failed. Guess what? You're just human. You pinch me, I'm gonna feel it. You cut me, I'm gonna bleed. I'm not a robot. I'm human. And so we have a capacity, each one of us, in how we can carry things that are troubling for us, that causes us to not be okay. We have a capacity. And when you get close to that capacity, your body is going to let you know it if you don't stop and give yourself some grace and some time. So I admit tonight that this lesson was for me. But I'm going to be okay because I'm working through it. But at this moment, it's difficult, right? You understand that? But to be able to speak it out, it is helpful, because otherwise it's bottled up right here. Some people actually feel physical chest pains when they're holding in things. That means you've been pretending and you need to find a safe ear and let this stuff out. You don't have to carry what you're dealing with alone. It's a choice we make, but if you're feeling all scrambled on the inside, full, just know that you don't have to carry it alone. Find some safe place. Find that person that will let you bend their ear and will be able to show you some compassion, that won't judge you, right? They won't try to make you say, people say, you all right, you're going to be fine. I know that people are just trying to encourage you. But what I was taught is that if you really don't know what to say to someone, all they really need is your presence. Don't feel like you always have to have a word to give to someone. Just be that sounding board. Just be that person that will listen. Maybe not even ask questions because this person is just trying to get it out. And it took them a long time to get to that place. And it took them a long time to find someone they felt that they could be vulnerable with. So don't ask them a lot of questions. Just listen to them. And don't always just say it's going to be okay. Sometimes those words hit people a different way according to what they're dealing with. My husband told a friend of his once that had lost his son. And he was trying to comfort him and tell him that, you're going to be okay. He said, how do you know? And then it took him over a year or so to come back around where he felt that he could resume the friendship. It wasn't that he was out of friends with him, the gentleman. It was just that he didn't know what to do with all that pain that he was carrying. And the last thing he wanted someone to say to him was, you're going to be okay. No, he just lost his only son and his only child. He did not want to hear that. So sometimes, if I can just give you a little wisdom, sometimes it's okay to just not say anything. Grief counselors will tell you the same thing. Just be present is all you need to do. If you see if it's something that you can get up and physically do, then that's fine. But watch what comes out of your mouth, because that person on that other end may not be ready to receive those type words. So, and they don't intend to offend you. It's just that they're so full because they're not okay, and they may not know how to quite respond. So we don't get angry. We just know it's when it's time to back up, but not leave them. You understand, if that makes sense? You don't have to do all these different things. Just be present. You don't even have to say, let's pray. You just sit there and be the intercessor. You know what I mean? Just let them be. But your presence is what makes the biggest difference a lot of times. And so God can meet any of us anywhere if we're not in a place where we're just pretending and not being real with the situation and what's going on. So how does it look then when you really do start healing, when you really do start receiving the breakthrough from God? What does it look like? The first thing is you can just admit the truth, and which is what? I'm not okay. The second thing is to stop minimizing what hurt. Stop acting like these things don't affect you, and you know they really do. 3 is identify what you need. Identify what you need. I just need you to listen to me. You know what I mean? I need you to take me to lunch or whatever. Know what it is that you need, and you have someone who's ready to help you. They just don't know what you need. So sometimes we have to get to a place where we can identify what we need and be able to articulate that to someone. Number 4 is talk to someone safe. Yes, you have to be careful where you put it. your innermost thoughts, your innermost feelings, because you're in a vulnerable state, right? So, but there is someone that God has placed in your life. Identify that person and let them do their job for you. It's to be there and to be present for you. Number 5 is to pray honestly. Tell God what you feel. Open up to God and tell him how unfair this feels to you. Whatever it is, to be honest, because God knows, but he wants you to be able, and you feel so much better when you can be honest in your prayers about what you feel. God will help you. You just got to be careful still with your temperament to God. But he understands what you're going through, right? So you can take it back to him with all these things you're disappointed about. All these things I just don't understand, God. This just does not seem fair. And then at some point you will be able to say, but if this is your will, God, then I know that you're going to help me through it. You know what I mean? So number 6 is to rest without guilt. It's okay. It's okay if you just want to rest today. You don't have to feel guilty about that, right? Sometimes your body needs that. If your body is rested, it will help your mind, because when you're tired and you're going through and you're on your feet all the time, your body heals itself, but it needs to be rejuvenated. It needs rest. So you can do that without feeling guilty. I'm not going to do anything today. I'm just going to lounge around. You know what? That might be the best medicine that you could ever have. It'll beat Percocet and anything else, Valium or whatever all these things are. Just giving your body the rest so that your mind could rest. Number 7 is to take one small step toward healing. You can't stay there forever, but we come to a place where we can accept. Just accept that this has happened. This is a tragedy. It didn't catch God by surprise. So that, therefore, I know that he's carrying me through this. I'm going to start making steps toward healing after the initial shock is over. Now I can start trying to work on healing as we're moving toward everything else that has to take place now. So, and I'm going to close tonight with this. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I'm going to let you go. But to the one that has been smiling, you're hurting, you're showing up, but you breaking and you're saying you're fine when you're really not. Just know this, you are human and it's okay. Your healing can begin once you start being truthful. Be honest about you not okay, but then be ready at some point to say, but I'm ready to heal. It's okay to cry. It's okay to go through what you go through. But then at some point you have to begin your steps toward healing. Just know that you're never alone. So this is Anita Kelly. This is For Real, For Real. We have real conversations. We deal with real pain. And we deal with real healing. So I hope that I was able to bless you tonight. So contact me if you need me. But just intercede for me as I'm telling you that I'm not okay. I'm better this week than I was last week, though. So I'm starting to make my steps toward healing. So just pray for me in the interim. Thank you for asking what you could do for me. This is what you can do for me. Another friend, passed away last week as well. So it's just a lot. When we say it's a lot, it means it's a lot. So listen, this is Anita Kelly, AK Ministries, with the For Real podcast. We've been talking about tonight, I'm not okay. But I want you to have a blessed week. I'll see you back here again next Monday night, God willing, at 8 p.m. In the meantime, you be blessed. Good night.